Hello everyone, welcome to another digital sketching tutorial. Today we will be drawing this building using this app called Concepts, which is available on the iPad as well as on Android tablets. So if you want to follow along, you can actually download this reference photo from the video description below. So let me switch over to Concepts. Concepts is a vector drawing app. So let me create a new canvas, and I am drawing today on this Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus tablet. First thing I want to do is to set the background color to something that is not white. So here I have chosen heavyweight. So this is how the white line looks like against this background. And I want to maybe lock the zoom. Where is the zoom locking mechanism? Yeah, so see here, you can enable canvas zoom. So I want to lock it because I don't want to zoom in and out. Sometimes when you have the option to zoom in and out, it makes you lose track of where you are. So for this particular sketch, I'm going to draw with this brown colored dynamic pen brush. And okay, so let's just do a very quick sketch. No, let's just create a new layer and draw some guidelines first. Basically just to block out the shape of this building. Okay, this line here, it's not horizontal. Just now this step here is just to block out the building and the general perspective. This is one advantage when it comes to drawing digitally, because you can have all these layers to work with. So this stage here, you don't have to like spend too much time. It's just to block out the area, just to get the general composition and perspective, to make sure that you get the proportion right. So because I have turned off the zoom, I am not able to zoom in and out with my fingers on this tablet. Oops, I was actually able to rotate. So I also want to turn off rotate as well. Let me just go back and check this off. So now I am not able to zoom in and out and also rotate. So that's good. You have to find out what type of workflow best suits you. So we have two signboards here, and there's a building here. And this shop house on the left side, there is actually a person here. The head of the person seems to be here, and this is the body. The legs are below here. I'm actually using this building here on the right side as a guide to help me place this person here. When drawing on location, well, I'll be using watercolor obviously, but today I'm doing this digital sketch because the weather out there, it's not good. Outside my place is not good, so it's very difficult for me to record with my camera because the lighting is not good. So this is, this draft here, it's almost done. We can proceed to make this layer less visible, more transparent, so that when we draw, we can use this as a guide. Okay, so this is, I think, looking nice. All right, so now with this new layer 1, which we will call guide, and then we can make this layer more transparent like this. And let's create a new layer. This will be called line. So this will be for the line art. And for today's sketch, I want to choose this red or brown ink, brown colored brush. Okay, so let's draw. This line seems to be a bit thick, so let me make this a bit thinner. Now, the tablet that I'm using, this is Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. So I am able to actually use pressure sensitivity with it. Oops, here I'm not able to join the lines perfectly. As much as possible, I try not to undo too much, because when you undo too many times, that's actually time wasted. So when I am drawing, I usually try to pretend as if I'm drawing with real ink that I cannot undo. This will also make you more careful when you are drawing, because when you are drawing digitally, you know you can undo, and because of that, you may draw a bit more carelessly, like place lines where you shouldn't be placing, and then when you notice that your line is wrong, you have to undo and you have wasted some time. But of course, if you do make genuine mistakes, you can undo. Undo is just one way to correct mistakes. The other way is to use the eraser. Here, okay. What happened here? For some reason, I accidentally changed the opacity of the brush to 40% earlier. Okay, this line here, this is tilted upwards. There's this awning here. Now notice when it comes to drawing with digital, the lines are very clean, almost too clean. Oops, that's a signboard there, but it's not in the right perspective. So not being able to zoom is actually presenting an issue right now. Here I have to erase and draw this line. Oops. Yep, this video is going to have a lot of whoopsies. That's the signboard. There's another shop there on the right side. Okay. Not being able to zoom is actually quite difficult. The main reason why I chose to lock the zoom is because sometimes when drawing, when you zoom in and out, you sort of lose track of where you are. Okay, we have a signboard here, and there's a window up there, but we will color that later on. So now let's just concentrate on getting this structure right. When you're drawing on paper, you will be able to see your whole page at a glance, but when you zoom in like this, sometimes you have to like zoom out to get a sense of where you are. Coloring digitally, it's going to be way easier compared to coloring with watercolor, because digital colors are so convenient. You don't have to add water, you don't have to prepare, you just pick a color and you just color. But some people, they don't like to draw digitally, obviously, because it doesn't feel right. The look, it doesn't feel right. Okay, let me draw a line there and draw some cars here. When it comes to drawing cars here, I need to like draw a bit slower so that I can get the shape of the cars right. The bottom of the vehicles are usually close to black. So even though I can undo as much as possible, I try to draw as carefully as I can. I mean, it's all part of the practice. If you know you can undo and you draw recklessly, that becomes a habit. It's not a good habit. Okay, so we have this main building here, which is drawn really quickly. And let's draw the top here. I realized that when it comes to drawing straight lines, I can draw straight lines more easily with actual pen and ink. But when it comes to digital drawings, for some reason, my line, they are not as straight. Maybe because the display, it's glass, so it's slippery. Some antenna lines here. Okay, the coloring later on, it's going to be very fun. Unfortunately for this app concepts, there is no fill bucket tool, so later on I have to actually use the fill drawing tool. It's not a fill bucket tool, the fill drawing tool to actually draw, fill in the colors. You will find out later on. It's not as convenient compared to the fill bucket tool. Okay, seems to be a signboard here as well, and some windows. 1, 2, 3, and we have smaller windows here at the bottom. So draw the big shapes first and then fill in the details. Here I'm using the pressure sensitive stylus, the Samsung S Pen, to draw the thinner lines. Oops, I think the perspective it's not right. Okay, so for this part here on the right side, I'm just going to erase here and let this sketch sort of fade to the white. Okay, let's draw some background buildings here. In the back, there seems to be another signboard here. And this building, I'm actually drawing that with the help of the drafting lines that I drew earlier. Now for buildings here in the background, you can actually draw them with thinner lines, so I've just reduced the line width, and this is to help me draw thinner lines. Buildings in the foreground can be drawn with thicker lines. Buildings in the background should be drawn with thinner lines because they are further away. Okay, so this part here, it's going to be a bit challenging. What am I drawing here? A truck? Yep. So with digital drawing, you can actually reduce the line width, but when you're drawing with actual pen and paper, there is obviously no way for you to do that. Okay, so we have this car here. So let me zoom out and see what we have so far. Some trees here. This building here with a black roof. I'm not sure what that is. And this triangle. So I'm referring to the roof here as a triangle rather than a roof, because sometimes when you think of actual give names to the actual thing that you're drawing, it may actually play tricks with your mind. And for this roof, it's going to come down here and end here. Okay, so this is where I need to draw this building here, this very tall building that's in front of this smaller building. Seems to be something that juts out here. Now let's draw this line first. And this line will end here. Coincides with the building on the right side, the red building on the right side. We have a curb here, and we have this signboard here. One of the sign is actually here above the small roof on the right side. Notice the line width here, now it's much thicker because this signboard is in the accidentally undid that one, because this signboard is in the foreground. Okay, and now let's draw this line behind the signboard, and there is another building here. Let's just draw a thick line down, erase this part here. So if I were to draw again with actual pen and ink and I drew the line too long, it would be a mistake. So that's a bad habit that I have when it comes to drawing digitally, because I know I can undo, so I draw a bit more recklessly. Oops. This is not right. The curve is not right. So when you're drawing, definitely try and pay as much attention as possible to get that curve right. Still doesn't look that right. Yeah, so there are some leaves here. For the leaves here, for the plants here, I'm going to try and follow what I see. So see this area here, this is not drawn correctly. Okay, now this sketch, I mean the general, the shape, the structure of all the buildings that you see, it's almost there. We have some potted plants here. Let me zoom in a bit to draw the leaves. Now, one nice thing about concepts is you see that I'm actually using red lines, but later on if I don't like the color, I can actually just change it. I can select all the lines and just change the color for the lines. And this building here, unfortunately, the signboards here, they overlap the building in the background, so I have to erase this part. This is another mistake. So let me just draw the signboards again. One will be here. Oh, this does not look like a square at all. Another one will be here. And we have one small signboard here. Let's erase this part here. Okay, and draw this pole down here. I have to reduce the size of the eraser as well. Oops. For some reason, it seems like the tablet is starting to lag. Okay, here. Okay, all right. I think it looks all right now. So we have this line that goes all the way up like this, and there are some other structures here. Seems to be a long column of windows here. So this would be the lines for the windows. Now these parallel lines are actually going to the vanishing point, but I did not actually draw the those lines, the angles of those lines accurately. This is the corridor here. The vanishing point is actually, let me just show you where's the vanishing point. It's actually somewhere around here. So some of the buildings will have, some of the diagonal lines for some of the buildings will go to the vanishing point. There's this person here. He is carrying a bag. Okay, so this is what we have so far, and now let's turn off the guidelines. Just check the eyeball icon there, and let's create a new layer beneath the line art, and let's call it background BG. And I'm going to color some I'm going to make the road, let's take a look at the road first. I'm going to make the road like gray. Let's have this gray. Oops. So this is where I have to use the fill tool. Just choose the fill brush, pick a color. Let's choose C4, which is cool 4. The color palette that you see there, that's actually the Copic coloring system. So I'm just using this gray to fill in all the colors. Yep, like this. Oops. So anything that's gray, I will just paint over. Basically, I'm just using it to color the road. You may see some strong shadows cast by the building on the left side, and parts of the road are actually lit by the sunlight. So I'm just drawing this shape here so that I can use the white color. Let me pick white and draw the sunlight, draw the path of the sunlight. Okay, so here is where, oops, let me undo. It's actually not easy to draw digitally. Okay, so this is the sunlight. Oops. And here there is a road as well. So here you see sunlight because there are no buildings casting shadows. Okay, I need to select this. I just tap and hold on the ground to select, to choose the color picker. So I'm using this to draw, to paint, sorry. And let's color this building red. Okay, let's choose a red color. Maybe this R46. And we can color the building red. Does this red look nice? So this is where it's inconvenient to use the fill tool, because you actually have to redraw the shape again. With non-vector apps, you can actually just use the fill bucket tool, click the enclosed area, and the area will be filled with color, but not with this particular tool. So to make it easier for me, I would have to draw the shapes bit by bit like this, because it's very difficult for me to draw the big shape. Even so, you can see some of the colors are actually coming out of the lines. Oops. Let's just work very quickly. So this part here, it's in white. We have white windows as well. So let me just use this fill tool to draw the white windows. There are about 7 here. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we have the white against the red. The contrast, it's very strong. It looks really nice. So you have to draw like slowly. Oh, okay, there is actually a line here. Oops. Line here that cuts across like this. So the window is actually above the line. Okay, now I get it. And here at the top, I can use, instead of the fill tool, I can actually use the line to draw the white. Okay, maybe let's put in some sky. Let's create another layer for the sky and drag that layer down below the background color and call this the sky. Okay, so with the sky, I'm going to choose the fill tool again and choose a blue for the sky. So this will go behind. You may see some of the colors, they overlap. Doesn't matter, because later on when I choose the background color layer again, I can draw over the blue. Okay, so let's continue to add colors. So right now I am adding the shadows, the really dark areas here. Again, this is using the fill tool. I'm still using the cool colors, the cool grays. Here we need a cool gray. I'm trying my best not to paint over the leaves, the plants here. So as you can see, it's not easy. The process, the sequence of drawing is actually quite important. So if you were to draw the wall first and then draw the plants over the wall, the shadows, it will be easier to fill. But now you can see I'm trying to work my way around the plant. So the thought process when it comes to drawing digitally, the sequence, it does matter. Okay, here we have two signboards. They are in shadow, so I want them to be light, maybe a C4. Yep, this is nice. This is C4, and we can draw, sorry, let me pick a black. Too thin. Okay, this is nice. And I can draw with a red now to create this sign here. And for this sign here, it will be a stop sign. And I can draw the words with white. So the sequence is very important. Here you have to draw the shape first before you can write the letters. And earlier on, that black here, you see this black here, it has to be drawn first before you can draw the red. So the sequence is important. This is the color of the building in shadow. This part here, it's actually black or something really dark. So let's do that for that. Corridors here in the background for the shop houses. Many of these cars are actually just black, so let me just color most of them black and have light gray to maybe highlight some of the windows and the side of the cars. And we have this very dark orange color here with black text, or black arrow, sorry. Yep. So now it's all about filling all the little areas with colors. Yep, this is a very tedious process when it comes to coloring. So with watercolor is actually easier because, I mean, with digital, you can actually go in, you can actually zoom into colors. So sometimes because you have that ability to do so, you tend to do so. But with watercolor, it's really about simplification. Okay, so I'm using the black here to create a bit more contrast here. Or should I use a black? Let me see if I can make... yeah, I should definitely use black because the gray, it's not that powerful. Okay, we have this. All right, now I want to draw the cast shadow on the red building. So to do that, I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to call it shadows. And I'm going to choose a very dark gray and then reduce the opacity for that. And now I can draw the bottom of the white structure here. Oops, I should use the fill too. Okay, with shadows like this, you can't just draw like multiple shapes and then join the shapes. They will not look good. See that overlap there? It doesn't look that nice. And with this particular app, there is actually no way to collect all the shapes and combine them together. So in this case, I have to draw the shapes one shot, like one single shape. Or you can draw the shapes, draw the shadow shapes, or paint the shadow shapes while you were coloring the building earlier on. Okay, accidentally selected the wrong color. Okay, so here you see once I add the shadow, this building, the form of the building starts to appear. Okay, we have shadows cast here as well. And let's erase this part here. So you can actually erase the shadow. And oh, here I have to actually combine this this whole shape here. And here we need this rectangular shape, and up here as well we need a rectangular shape. And here for the top, all this will be cast shadow, and here and here. Alright, so after adding the shadows, you can really see the form starting to appear. Okay, we have shadows here as well. So far so good. Now the building on the left side, maybe I should just like create one huge shadow like this. Doesn't look good, so maybe I should just leave it as it is. Clouds. Let's draw some white clouds. Let's change it to white and reduce opacity so I can have some clouds here. And I can make the clouds even more white just by drawing over and over again. Let's draw some lines on the ground. Maybe this line needs to be a bit more white and has to be thinner. These are the road markings. Now this diagonal line will go to the vanishing point. There seems to be a line here as well, and some orange marker lines. So for the orange lines, let's use this. There is some orange here. Oops, too thin. And yep, some lines on the ground, road markings on the ground. And here I can actually add some additional details using this. Maybe let's choose a different color, something darker. Have 30% transparency over it. Yep, this looks nice. So just like the clouds, I'm going to draw over and over again just to create some sort of texture, which I think it's kind of nice. Okay, so maybe I need to draw the bicycles on the right side. There's a fence. There's actually a fence on the right side, so maybe I will create a new layer just to draw the fence right on top. For the fence, let's have this dynamic brush, 100% opacity. For the green fence, let's just draw like this. Yep, I think does it work? It should work. So yep, so we need to observe the perspective as well. Okay, I think that sign there, it should be in front here. Doesn't really matter. Let's add some grass here. Oops, wrong brush. Let's add some grass here, and let's add some curb here. For the curb, let's have this. Oops, wrong color. Yep, I think that's better. Let's give this curve some definition. Okay. Last thing I'll do is to add some texture. So let's create a new layer called the texture layer. Texture. So to add texture, I'm going to select this splatter brush, which is not a free brush, but it's definitely worth the money because this brush actually comes together with other brushes in this particular set called spray paints. And I'm going to choose this dark gray color and choose like a huge brush. And I'm going to just like splatter some marks on the ground. Yep, I think it looks nice. You have to know when to stop. Okay, maybe not that much. Now for splatter marks, I mean for the road in the background, you don't really want the big brush. You just want like a small brush. Oops. So this is one way to add some texture. Okay, I think it's nice. Maybe one dot here on the right side. Okay, I think this sketch is done. All right, earlier on I told you that you can actually change the color of the lines. So let me show you how you can do it. Just tap on the layer and tap on this arrow here, and it will select all the lines, and you will be able to change the color. So if you want to change it to black, just select black color and just tap away and see how it looks. So this is how it looks with the black lines. Let me just undo and show you the red lines, which I like. Let me just tap away. All right, so this is the completed sketch. Let me just zoom in and maybe pan around the scene for you guys to see. You can certainly add more details because, I mean, with digital apps like this, you can just zoom in all the way to add details. But here, I'm just going to leave it as it is. Let's turn off the background color. So earlier on we have the background as heavyweight. Let's make it just plain white and see how it looks. Okay, so if you want to, you can actually share this sketch on Instagram or on your Facebook page. Just go to the export section here and just export out your file. Alright, so thank you guys for watching. I believe this is a rather long tutorial. Yeah, anyway, I will be going back to this location to draw this building again with watercolor, with pen, ink, and watercolor. As mentioned earlier, the main reason why I'm creating digital art, I'm drawing this digitally today, is because the weather outside my window, it's not that good, the lighting is not that good, so I'm just doing a screen recording tutorial, which is easier. Alright, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. Bye.